Again, welcome to today's service. And as you know, the month of October begins another National Basketball Association, or NBA season. And I have to put forth this disclaimer that I am not a Kings fan. I am a Los Angeles Lakers fan. And it's so reassuring to see and hear all of you Laker fans here in the Sangha. Thank you. You know, since basketball has been one of my favorite sports, I felt today was an appropriate time to talk about how Buddhism impacts basketball, believe it or not. The inspiration for today's Dharma message is from a book entitled The Call to Adventure, and is a compilation of select radio messages about Buddhism from 7 ministers and 28 lay speakers from the Central California from 1950 to 1970, so 50 to 70 years ago. A given broadcast lasted 15 minutes and consisted of 3 speakers who had 5 minutes each to speak. The purpose of the radio ministry program was to spread the word of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism to those people that could not attend church due to illness or lack of transportation to the temple. As the late Reverend Hatta stated in his congratulatory message in the book, quote, "The valuable service of providing weekly broadcasts spoken in both English and Japanese required the virtues of diligence, patience, and effort in order to be successful, and required a tremendous amount of time, research, study, and rehearsal on the speaker's part. Sponsors and donors provided the monetary resources to make this radio program possible. I would also like to share Bishop Suji's congratulatory message in the book. In the teaching of the Nembutsu, religious growth never stops. As we strive for deeper insight into the nature of our own life and come to a greater understanding of ourselves, we must also strive to help others in the realization of a meaningful way of life. In the life of Nembutsu, the inward growth of a person's personality is always accompanied by the outward reach of compassion towards others." And there was one particular article that caught my attention, and it was a radio broadcast by Mr. Ichiro Okada, which was entitled Sports and Religious Organization. Mr. Okada questioned the purpose of church sports programs. He questioned the purpose of church. I'm sorry, I just said that. As I read this article, fond memories came back to me of my youth over 55 years ago, in which I participated in church baseball and basketball. Baseball was the sport of kings in those days during the 1960s, and basketball was its lesser-known cousin. I played church baseball through the 4th grade and then moved on to church basketball and played through high school. And because of the popularity of the youth basketball program during the past 40 years, this church basketball program grew to offer beginning instructional league for the 1st through 4th grade, where the kids learned to dribble, pass, and shoot, and competitive basketball games were played by the 5th graders through high school. In my days, we did not have the benefit of instructional basketball, and we struggled to play organized basketball while learning to dribble, pass, and shoot, as well as to learn the concepts of offense and defense. My early teams were the original Bad News Bears, as we experienced a lot of losing. But as young adults, or when we become young adults, we realize years later that church basketball was not about winning or losing. It was about planting the seeds of friendship. And in thinking back those days, the lifelong friendships created from my youth basketball experience were truly a wonderful gift that I received. Now, getting back to Mr. Okada's question regarding whether church basketball was just a sporting activity played for fun, recreation, and fellowship, or did church basketball play a role in the religious education offered to the youth? Interestingly, Mr. Okada's opinion was basketball played an important part in the overall Buddhist educational experience offered by the church. He thought church basketball promoted character building for the young players. And in a game of competitive basketball, there will always be a winner and loser. If a team is strictly in it for the winning, then important lessons from competition is lost. For example, players from a losing team may feel anger and despair from the stigma of defeat and think basketball was a waste of time and effort. However, the Buddhist teachings, the Dharma, help us to understand how to be a good winner and how to be an even better loser, despite the human nature of always wanting to win and never wanting to lose. As the Noble Eightfold Path teaches, right thought, right effort help guide us on how we conduct ourselves no matter the outcome of the game. The Dharma also teaches us to understand that it really does not matter who won or who lost. What really mattered was how we played the game to the best of our ability. The Buddhist philosophy on life from a real winner is one of humility, one who is grateful for being taught by coaches, receiving support from our teammates, parents, and the church, learning teamwork by playing together with others, having fun while giving our best efforts, and learning fair play and sportsmanship. The Buddhist teaching of compassion and interdependence provides all these wonderful lessons I just mentioned. The Dharma also teaches the participants what courage is by being able to accept defeat while always doing your best and never giving up. As the Four Noble Truths teaches us, life is tough, and losing will always be a part of our lives. How we handle defeat helps us to build character based on patience, perseverance, resilience, and having a positive attitude. These attributes teach us the life lesson of simply doing the right thing. What we learn about ourselves while experiencing losing will help us to deal with the harsher realities of life, such as making mistakes and experiencing disappointments and failure. If losing a basketball game is the worst thing we ever experience in the big picture of life, then life is wonderful. Life is great. Winning is not about who has the most points at the end of the game. Winning in life is about participating, experiencing, and enjoying wholesome activities such as sports, no matter the outcome. If we can participate, experience, and enjoy life to its fullest, then our journey on the Nembutsu path will bring complete and total satisfaction into our lives, just as the Buddha wishes for all of us. I leave with you some very wise words from Mr. Okada. We are grateful for this chance to play sports and to make friends and meet old friends. Let us play hard. Let us play fair. Let us play with good sportsmanship. If we win, let us win with humility. And if we lose, let us lose with understanding and courage. Thank you, Mr. Okada, for your wonderful, insightful, and most inspiring broadcast over a half century ago. And the final thing I'd like to leave with all of you, but especially with the younger folks, is that when you really think about it, this Dharma message not only applies to sports, but the lessons that I spoke about applies to all aspects of your life. Being at the church, being at school, being at work. And that is to make the most of your time as you're living here on earth. So please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.